Come join Kyle, John and David as they go through what's on the playlist. Find out what's everyone's favourite at Chicken Soup for the Soul Entertainment. We have a few segments, to be honest. In and out points, no celebs and the gossip. Back in time where we're talking about the big M's, coming attractions, what the cue. Quick checks, who'll be laughing? You abundantly. Welcome to Dual Redundancy.
Yes, welcome to Dual Redundancy, the only podcast where you can hear all the latest in television, entertainment news, and all about the 76th Primetime Emmy Awards with two meals with exactly the same opinions. I'm one of those hosts, David Allen, and another one is...
John Berger. The third one is...
Kyle Bridger. I would say that I am the Eugene Levy to the younger Levy, who I'm just blanking on his name right now, because John... Dan Levy. And Dave can be our bright and shining star, Catherine O'Hara.
Yeah, that was the big surprise at the end of the night, presenting the final award. Ripped up the envelope, but had a spare behind. Don't worry, I got a whole spare document of all the stats, all the figures, all the surprises, the snubs, everything that happened at the 76th Primetime Emmy Awards last night. We have so much to get to. We got to jump in because we have this first segment to get through first, and I don't have a spare name for that one. John, what is it?
In and out points.
Yes, it is in and out points. A lot of TV talk tonight, and we're going to start off with something from the Rolling Stone. They're at it again. 2 years ago, we discussed the 100 greatest TV shows of all time. Last year, we discussed the 50th worst TV decisions of all time. But this year, they got another list, and it's the 100 greatest episodes of all time.
Honestly, I was waiting for something like this. I feel like this list should have already been done before.
Maybe it was like 5 years ago, and it's just like, it's like Time's a Flat Circle, and they're updating it and the changes. And I'm sure another Variety or Deadline or somebody, TV Line, had another one of these at some point. But we're gonna go through it. Look at some of these placements here. Perusing the list, I will say we have shows from the 50s through now, like from this year. I don't believe any series got 2 spots. Like every show, I think got like 1 spot. I might have missed one, but that's just what I saw. And it's only narrative dramas and comedies. So you're not going to get any news, reality, sketch comedy, talk shows, any of that. We're going to have some narrative TV shows here. So I want to look at, I'll talk about the top 5 as you can see the list scrolling through all 100 on our Twitch and YouTube streams here. But the top 5, and we can see if there's any grievances with this. Number 5 is Seinfeld's The Contest. 4 is The Sopranos College. Number 3 is The Leftovers International Assassin. Number 2, The Simpsons Last Exit to Springfield. And number 1, Breaking Bad, Ozymandias. All right, so John, let me get your initial thoughts here. I know you like the number 1 pick. What do you think about the rest of the 5?
Gotta be honest, except for maybe the Seinfeld one, I don't think I've seen any of those.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm a little behind on my TV, but you know what? Those are all shows that I've heard very good things about. They all have a lot of accolades, so nothing jumps out to me as wrong based off of what I've heard. But I may not be the most qualified to yay or nay. You gotta
like the Breaking Bad being on top.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. Kyle, what about you?
I mean, The Contest is iconic. I mean, even if you haven't seen Seinfeld, I think you're aware of that episode in some way. It's a pop culture phenomenon. I really thought Ozymandias, that's one of the, when you sent me the list, that is one of the episodes that I thought for sure was going to be right up there. So I'm not surprised that it's number 1, and it kind of brought everything together. I for sure can see The Leftovers being up there. I'm blanking on what episode that is.
So I believe that is when Kevin first goes into that like purgatory world.
Okay. Yeah. And I will say that Sopranos episode is really, really good. But
It's an early one, yeah.
yeah, it's hard to tell. Like, I'm still making my way through The Sopranos, and people love it. So it's like, what in my mind, I'm thinking about. I'm like, what makes that a better one than maybe even the one where Chris and Paulie are in the woods,
Pine Barrens. Yeah, that's usually a popular episode.
So that. And the college one is very good, but I'm like, what makes that better than maybe that? So I'm interested kind of to see the logic behind the picks, but it is a great episode. But I'm not surprised.
I'm interested to know, are they taking these episodes at face value or in the context of the entire show?
Yeah, that does make a difference. That's where it gets
very confusing,
because huge difference.
Because like with college, the Sopranos episode, that's an early episode. You could probably watch that one and know what's going on. When you get to Ozymandias, it's like, does this mean anything to anybody who hasn't seen the rest of Breaking Bad? I don't know. So it is very interesting to think about it that way. Yeah, I wasn't shocked with number one. I knew Ozymandias would be somewhere in the top 5. I also know that Alan Sepinwall, who's Rolling Stone's chief TV critic, great critic, he loves The Sopranos. He loves The Simpsons. So I figured somewhere they're going to be in the top 3 in some combination or whatever. So like, they're going to be up there in that top group. But yeah, I mean, no huge quibbles. I mean, with the list, other things I noticed with it was like, I believe there's only one series finale that made the cut. It was 6 Feet Under's. Very good episode. Very good finale. One of the best. I saw that there was like 3 pilots, 3 premiere episodes of the show Alias, Twin Peaks, Battlestar Galactica. So it's like, oh, so your best episode was your first episode, and then what does that say? But I don't know. The thing I want to kind of play a little, I don't know, maybe switch out here, is you're probably not supposed to view the rankings this way, but since it's really only like 1 episode per show, it's like, can we say that is the best episode of the series?
Yeah.
At least, I mean, maybe we can look at it that way. So some I agree with. Breaking Bad, What We Do in the Shadows, the episode they picked is On the Run. That's the Jackie Daytona episode.
Yeah.
That's a very fun episode. Succession, Connor's Wedding. Again, maybe if you haven't been watching the 3.5 seasons before that, it may not mean as much, but it was a huge, big episode of that show.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I agree with those. It's hard to quibble with some other ones, like The Office's Dundee's episodes. That's a good episode. Everybody Loves Raymond. I saw Baggage. That's one of the episodes I watched Raymond growing up. And when I first think of that show, that's the episode I think. It's one of those just like, classic, just, marital things. It's like that sums up the show really well. And like, you have something like Frasier's The Ski Lodge. It's like, I'm still making my way through. I know Kyle is too. And it's like, but it's a one set play of misunderstandings. And it's like, that kind of sums up, I feel like, Frasier pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah, it is very good. There's one that I didn't see on here that I still think about from time to time was the Night Of's pilot episode. Where we see the makings of everything that he's going to be battling with his entire time. And it just is like soul crushing and it's sad. And I think, to me, that's still one of the best episodes I've seen. It was really, really good. And just if we are taking up, one episode, I think that is one that really gets me. Even if it didn't make this list, I don't even see it on here, but that's one that I think about. But you're right. I think that's I just saw the Game of Thrones one pass. It's like,
I want to ask you about that one.
Like the Battle of the Bastards is great. The Red Wedding episode is great. Like all of those episodes are really, really good. So
they went with A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Is that
I gotta
up
be
there?
Honest. I mean,
it's a season 8 episode.
Season 8, which I think is like a questionable, season. So it's just so, I just wonder what the logic is.
Yeah, John, what do you think?
I think that was probably one of the last episodes before it really started plummeting. If it's the one I'm thinking of, I'd have to go look it up and actually see. But if it's the one I'm thinking of, that was like that was like when everyone was like all hyped and they were like, oh yeah, it's gonna be great, and then it just kind of after that, you know, like
Yeah, because there is some like I'm not sure I agree with the list. Like I saw like Veep had like testimony. I've been rewatching Veep, and there's a great moment of like they go run through Jonah's like nicknames, but I feel like it's lacking in other spots, and there's definitely ones that are better. I think Always Sunny, they had Mac bangs Dennis's mom. I mean, it's been a while. This is season 2. It's been a long time. But I feel like other ones are more iconic to me in my head. Like, I'll just run through a list.
The
like,
Dayman?
Dayman, that's, The Nightman Cometh. We have The Gang Gets Held Hostage. Frank Sets Sweet D on Fire. The Dennis System. Charlie McDennis. Who Pooped the Bed. Mac and Charlie Write a Movie. It's like, I was scrolling on the Wikipedia page, and I'm like, there's so many episodes. And then it's like, some of these have their individual Wikipedia pages, which this episode and number 80 on the list doesn't even have it. So it's like, oh, maybe it is. These other ones are more iconic. There's a whole Wikipedia page about them. One last one I want to bring up, though, get John's thoughts on this one too, is Better Call Saul's Fun and Games. Number 18 on the list, season 6, episode 9. This is the episode, I'll keep it as spoiler free as I can. After Jimmy and Kim and Howard had an unexpected visitor arrive to their apartment, and this is the episode right after that. And this thing really kind of focused on like the write-up about it, why it was this episode was like on the I love you exchange and then the blunt time jump. And I feel like I'd argue that the season, like the episode before it, Plan and Execution, was better. I mean, Chicanery is my personal favorite.
Is that the one with Michael McKean?
Yes, on the stand. Like, and I think that kind of sums up the show a bit more. Like, again, this is an episode like, other than that last little bit where we jumped to Breaking Bad, it's like, would this have worked on its own without the buildup of all those characters? I'm not sure, but I can't quibble. 18 on the list, you know. But all right, we could keep going through the list, but we got so much to do tonight. I want to jump to I guess a couple of streaming services that they didn't have any content on this list, and they won't, because unfortunately over the summer, Chicken Soup for the Soul Entertainment, the parent company that operates Redbox and Crackle, has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy after failing to employ employees and vendors for at least 4 weeks. While Redboxes will be shut down, that also means no more original programming from the DVD kiosk service. Pouring one out for Chicken Soup for the Soul Entertainment.
What's the overhead on these boxes that they need to cancel the boxes? Like, don't they just sit there and collect money? Like,
I guess, but maybe it's like the DVDs, like, or the Blu-rays or whatever's in them at this point. It's like, we're not buying any new ones, so it's maybe, we're stopping now. So like, no new movies after this point.
Well, are they even making physical media for new stuff anymore? That's also true. At this point,
it's also true. I don't know, but
I'm sure Redbox could probably have a special run made for whatever they wanted if they had the money for it. But
I mean, if they're not even, I mean, I agree, but if they're not even willing to give the DVD to their stars in their own shows, like, they're like, here's a link to, and here's the password. It's like, no, can I get a DVD? And they won't even do that for their own stars. So
well, I think the difference is they're probably making like 50 for the stars, whereas I'm sure Redbox would probably buy a couple thousand. You know what I mean? Like, it's probably a volume difference, but no, I totally agree that you'd have to have an in to do that, and probably have some kind of volume pricing.
I mean, for
deal and all that.
For like, you could have an intern just burning DVDs in the back for your stars. It's like, geez, what are we doing?
I just remember those memes. I think it was like during like COVID. Like, isn't there just somebody in the box like passing the DVDs? Like, oh, which one do you want? Here it is. There you go. Like, but anyways, no more Chicken Soup for the Soul Entertainment, but we will still have some chicken related original programming from another company. The fast food chain Chick-Fil-A is moving into the entertainment space with plans to launch a slate of originals on its own streaming platform. Deadline reported that the fast food restaurant has been working with a number of major production companies, including some of the studios, to create family-friendly shows, particularly in the unscripted space. There's also in talks to license acquired content. This is the best paragraph from the whole article. Chick-fil-A, known for its fried chicken sandwiches, is the latest company outside of the entertainment industry to move into making its own originals. It joins the likes of Lyft, which has produced shows such as Lucky Lyft, a game show hosted by Bob the Drag Queen, and Airbnb, which previously produced the documentary Gay Chorus Deep South that aired on MTV.
Okay, I was going to say, there is no way that Chick-fil-A is using the company that did that. So I had to read between the lines here because this is a company that doesn't even open on Sundays, and they're not going to do Bob the Drag Queen and Gay Chorus Deep South. So
no, they're working on, let's see, a family-friendly game show from Glassman Media, the company behind NBC's The Wall, and Michael Sugar's Sugar 23, which is behind series such as Netflix's 13 Reasons Why. I don't know how a family-friendly game show... I understand The Wall, don't understand 13 Reasons Why. I don't understand that producer involved. But who's excited for some Chick-fil-A content? John, you going to sign up for the streaming service?
Only if we cover an episode on the show.
All right, I'll hold you to it.
Do I get like a free... Chick-fil-A sandwich if I subscribe or something?
Maybe it can be like Apple TV Plus. Like if you buy an iPhone, you get like 3 months of Apple TV Plus. You buy a chicken sandwich, you get a week of Chick-fil-A programming.
They give you an access code for one episode of a show.
Yeah.
And then you got to go back next week to get your next episode.
Yeah.
You
watch an episode, with your meal.
You know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of the little Mountain Dew Pepsi caps.
Yeah. The codes?
Yeah, where you had the codes. Are we just looping everything back around? Oh my gosh, man. But I still don't get this. I mean, it must be dirt cheap to make this stuff. But
it wasn't dirt cheap for Chicken Soup for the Soul Entertainment.
But I guess it's like everyone is in the media landscape is like, no one is making money. Like, this is the worst. And then everyone's like, hey, we got to get in this. And it's just like,
I think it's like this false thing of like, hey, look at all this money out there. It's like, yeah, it worked for Disney. It worked for, these giant corporations. Like, you guys are late. You guys are late to this party.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to make Chick-fil-A Plus? Like,
and
you got to be big now to stand out because there's ones like Max and Paramount Plus and Peacock that are dying and they're run by huge corporations.
Unless it's like we're just using this to funnel audiences back to Chick-fil-A. Yeah. I mean, unless it's under values, that, guys,
Maybe.
But is it where... Are they showing this at kiosks when you're ordering? Like, where?
I think you're going to watch it at home.
Oh, my God.
Download the app.
I'm just waiting for the Chick-fil-A Hallmark collab or something.
Didn't we watch? There was something with KFC, I feel like. It was starring Mario Lopez as Colonel Sanders. I'm remembering that now.
Oh, my God, yeah.
It was like a Taste of Seduction or some dumb thing. I don't know. It was like, I don't know.
Yeah. It's so stupid, man. I don't know. I mean,
we're all gonna laugh when Chick-fil-A cleans up at the 77th Emmy Awards, right? But
how into Chick-fil-A do you have to be to subscribe to whatever they're putting down?
I don't know. If they have the Gus Fring spin-off show Los Pollos Hermanos or something, I might be in.
Yeah.
But all right. I mentioned the Emmys. No Chick-fil-A programming nominated this year, but we're gonna talk about everything that happened at last night's 76th Primetime Emmy Awards that took place on ABC. A lot to talk about tonight. Going into the night, Shogun led with 25 total nominations, followed by The Bear with 23, and Only Murders in the Building with 21. If we looked at the major nominations, those featured in the primetime broadcast, we had The Morning Show leading with 11, The Bear next with 9, and then The Crown and Shogun with 8. But after the ceremony, we have some records broken, some new leaders, 3 shows led with both total wins and ceremony wins. But those 3 weren't able to win all the top 3 prizes. So Shogun led total wins with 18. The Bear was next with 11, and then Baby Reindeer followed with 6. Those 3 shows all scored 4 major wins during the ceremony, but it was actually Hacks which had 3 major wins that upset The Bear for Outstanding Comedy Series. So we're gonna breakdown, drama, comedy, limited, throughout the thing. But overall, Kyle, your thoughts on those leaders?
I mean, I'm not surprised at all. They had the most nominations for a reason. I really like Shogun this year. It probably deserves all the wins it got. The Bear was very good in season 2, and Baby Reindeer was like the limited series that was very popular. So I'm not surprised by any of the wins. Besides Hacks winning for comedy, I think maybe the voting body just thought, hey, we'll recognize individual greatness for the Bear, but as a show, Hacks is a comedy.
Yeah.
Hacks is a comedy and the Bear is not. Even though the Bear season 2 was probably better than the Bear season 1.
Yeah. And we will talk about that for sure. I have a lot of thoughts about the Bear and what won and what didn't win in the comedy race, but I don't want to, forget about Shogun here, because 18 Emmy wins. That's the most one show has received in a single year. So that's a record right there. What's also wild is Shogun broke this record even before those 4 ceremony wins. So going in, after the Creative Arts Emmys, they had 14 wins, which was already the record for a show in a year. So tonight, it won drama directing, lead actor, lead actress, and drama series. This is also the first drama series win for FX. Huge night for Shogun.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, would you say it's the strongest drama category? I mean, probably not. So, I mean, it makes sense with the year, with the way that the year panned out, that they're top notch. They had a very, very good show. And so it makes sense that they won all those awards on, I wouldn't say a weak year, but a more down
a weaker year. I mean, yeah, we talked about them in our prediction shows and our nomination reaction. It's like, I know you guys like Fallout, but like, is there an Emmy show? Like Three Body Problem, that was a weird, like, it got a slot, you look at both. Yeah, it was, I think of the 3 top categories, it was probably the weakest group of the 3. But despite those records and all those wins, it did miss out on some of the other categories. There was no nomination for Shogun in supporting actress, so Elizabeth Debicki won as predicted, as we thought, for the crown.
I think she probably, Elizabeth Debicki was very good. Even Shogun, I think she would have beat whoever Shogun puts up there. I think.
Yeah, I could see that. And then, but I will say, in our predictions, I had Billy Crudup.
You did.
He won for supporting actor.
Yep.
They love that morning show. They love that Billy Crudup.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got that one in there.
Can I just say, Billy Crudup? His speech. He was giving me serial killer vibes, dude. I don't know what it was about. I think it was just a lot of teeth.
The Billy Crudup story.
It was just the speech gave me creep like serial killer vibes. I don't know why, but yeah.
But and then we had Will Smith. Not that Will Smith. He made a point to say that. He said, "I come in peace."
Yeah.
He won. I guess it may be a surprise for Solo Horses, winning for drama writing. There was 2 Shogun nominees there. Maybe they canceled each other out. I don't know, but there was some love. I mean, I've been seeing it online for Solo Horses. I just think it's like one of those like little watch shows, because Apple TV Plus, I feel like, never advertises any of their shows. But that's a conversation for another time. But
I feel like it's in the same line of like Ripley, where when I thought of Ripley, it was like, oh, it is a great show, but am I going to have to really like invest myself into, I'm really going to have to take this hour or so, or really
like slow is in the title. I mean,
so, but I think I've heard great things about it. So I'm not surprised that it won something there.
Any other thoughts on drama? Any drama wins before we move on?
No.
Any other awards that we missed, Kyle? Any on the drama? Well, I mean, like, with our predictions, I already called you out. I mean, these were fun predictions. There were no bet on these, but I know I had the Billy Crudup. I think we had our our Shogun actors correct.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Debicki. I think we did pretty good with drama.
Yep. Yeah.
Comedy is where it went a little awry. Because I think we thought, like, Fishes would, be unstoppable, picking up both writing and directing and comedy, but it only got directing. Writing went to Hacks.
Yeah.
And it wasn't as strong of a night for The Bear as we alluded to earlier. And that's saying something, because we went in knowing it broke the comedy nomination record for a single year. And it still beat its own record for the most wins for a comedy series in 1 year. It had 10 wins in January, 11 this year. So it broke its own record, but it still wasn't as big as you had thought it would have been, which is kind of weird to say. Like, yes, The Bear did receive directing, lead actor in a comedy, both supporting wins, but it missed out on some other big ones, like lead actress and also in comedy series. And there's a lot to break down with this. And like we've both been saying, I believe on like the previous 2 Emmy pods, it's like, I really think it's a bit of like this eligibility confusion. I think it's a little bit of comedy backlash, because like Evan Moss Backrack won for Forks again for that episode. So like
he won it twice for the same episode, pretty much in the minds of the people. Definitely.
Like last year when season 2 aired, during season 1 voting, it helped him win that one, because he didn't really, I don't know if needed it for season 1, but season 2, that was in their minds. They voted for Forks. Now he's actually up for Forks. So I think, season 3 aired. He got it for Forks. But what's interesting, we see like the same thing happen again on repeat for Liza Colin-Zayas. Her supporting win. Because I think that was a surprise for both of us. We didn't have her on our Will Win or Dark Horse. Because she didn't have anything really in season 2.
Yeah.
She had a great season 3 standalone episode. Powerhouse episode. And that's what they saw.
Yeah.
So she got the nomination without season 3. So like, that was like a nice kind of surprise, I think. But then season 3 helped her win for season 2.
Yeah, it's
backwards. It's very weird. Confusing, and I don't know what that means for season 4 when season 3 will be up next year, and she actually has a great standalone episode. Will she get 2 again for the same episode? Maybe she'll have another great episode, season 4. I don't know, but
we had Hannah Einbinder, didn't we?
Yeah, I think I think that was a good bet, especially with the Hacks love. I mean, if you look at the category lead actress, I believe I know I predicted Jean Smart for the Will Win, Io for the Dark Horse.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember if you had the same.
Yeah,
I'm
pretty sure I had the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So, because Io won supporting actress last year, but this year she went to lead, the same category that Quentin Brunson won the year before. But this is the first time Jean Smart is facing those competitors, and when it all came down to it, The Bear didn't win. Jean Smart won. It was another Hacks win. So I don't know. I mean, it's like it wasn't the right move. Maybe like who knows? Maybe Io against Liza in the supporting actress, that would have been a more interesting matchup.
Yeah. But I didn't realize they love Jean Smart, man.
Oh, they stood for Jean Smart. That's what I was saying. I had those stats. Crazy. I was like, they love Jean Smart.
Wow. Yeah, that was really surprising. They love her a lot.
But I will say it was funny in her speech, though. I don't know if you caught it, where she's like, "Oh, I want to thank HBO Max." I mean, Max, like and like she's like, "We don't need our service," and she pretty much was like calling out this BS because she even can't remember. Is it HBO? Is it HBO Max? Is it Max? Is it Now? Is it Go? I don't know. I just collect the check. I don't know. But
yeah. I mean, I think it is one of those things where. Let's celebrate the actual comedy. I've seen a couple of episodes of season 2, 3, whatever it is now. And it is good. It is kind of.
It's gotten better because I remember we weren't in on it in that first episode or 2.
Yeah. It is good. I mean, it is about, the comedic world and the representation in comedy and all that. So it is about the industry as a whole, and they for sure love that, so.
Yeah. Because it's always a fine line with that, because it's like you get the Studio 60 of it all, where it's like a show trying to take like comedy like a little bit seriously. I feel like this is probably a little bit more, I'm not saying it's 30 Rock, but like it's probably poking itself a little bit more than like Studio 60 took how serious it was.
Well, yeah, I think it does balance this thing where it's not the other two, where we're making total fun of it, but we're finding the moments to make fun of it, but there's also some positive elements to it, or this is what we like about the industry, or this is what keeps us coming back, or you know. So I think that's what the industry likes about it, and it is smartly written,
and that's what helped them win for comedy series. That was one of the biggest upsets of the night. I mean, because you look at the awards, sure, it picked up lead actress, it picked up writing, but like The Bear had plenty, directing. It had the previous week's casting for a comedy series, the Creative Arts. That win is usually somewhat of a predictor for series, so that could have helped it. But I think there was just so much like so feelings about season 3. So while season 2 helped season 1 last year win, season 3 may have hurt season 2 a bit, because there were some mixed feelings on it. But I think one thing a lot of people agreed with, which I saw again last night on Twitter, the show isn't a comedy. And I think they were like, we're not going to punish the performers. We are going to, maybe send a message to the producers or whatever it is and say, Hacks is a comedy. It's going to win comedy series. We're not going to give a drama comedy series again. And the hosts even had a great kind of jab at it in their opening monologue. They said, I know some of you might be expecting us to joke about whether The Bear is really a comedy, but in the true spirit of The Bear, we will not be making any jokes.
Yeah.
That was a good zinger. And I saw a lot of, folks afterwards even kind of complaining about Jeremy Allen White's win. And it's like, he's never said a single humorous thing or even maybe cracked a smile in 3 seasons.
Yeah.
Yet he's now 2 for 2. And it's like, I wouldn't be shocked if next year he doesn't win. Like, I think they might be like, all right, we got Steve Martin Short, Larry David here. Like, we got comedians doing comedy. Let's award comedians. Even though he's great doing what he's doing, but it's not a comedic performance.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's, like you said, an eligibility thing or a categorical thing, how these things get decided. It really is not fair to him because he's just going out and he's putting forth his best effort, but it isn't really comedy. He's doing great dramatic work. That's what it is.
Yeah. Now, I will say though, I almost want to take away one of the Bears' wins and do a write-in vote to take away Evan Moss-Bachrach's win after that terrible live ad for Johnny Walker Liquor.
I was gonna mention that. It was it was awkward. It was weird.
He stared into the camera at one point, I think looking for the teleprompter of what he was supposed to read. It was stilted dialogue.
So cringy.
I know it was nobody could act how cringy this script was for this clear ad for this liquor brand. But I will say I felt a little better when he when he was about to, because they went immediately to presenting the next award, and he kind of made a jab. I was like, oh, that was something. Let's do that again or something. It was that. It's like he knew that did not play right. Yeah. So I feel a little bit better, but man, that was rough.
Yeah, I don't know why. What was it for? Johnny Walker?
I think it's for Johnny Walker. I think.
They should have. I mean, they must have paid a pretty penny for that, but it was weird, man. It was so weird.
Yeah. Yeah. So any other thoughts with comedy? Because the Johnny Walker ad definitely also did not have comedy.
Yeah. So. I think we discussed pretty much all of it. I was going to ask you what you thought if can the Bear switch over to drama?
It could. I mean, it's not the first time. I mean, if you go back to Orange is the New Black, I believe first 2 seasons were comedy, had some wins, but then it got transitioned to drama when they said, hey, this is an hour-long show. It's more dramatic. Sure, there's comedy moments, but there's more dramatic moments. And they moved it to that. Not the same, but True Detective, I believe, season 1 and 2 were in drama series because Matthew McConaughey was up against Bryan Cranston for season 1. But now we're seeing it's in limited series. So things can move around a bit. But
so my question to you is, if we put The Bear season 2 in the drama category,
Ooh.
Does Shogun, what is that like?
I don't know. I mean, it might lose a couple, but like
It's tough.
I think if we look at how it went with this night, it's like maybe Eben, still wins for supporting actor.
Mm-hmm.
Probably Debicki still wins for supporting actress. I don't know about the lead performances.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if Jeremy has it with this, and then I don't know with the amount Shogun won. It might have been Shogun still.
Yeah.
I think initially, the Bear maybe was running away from Succession because that was the juggernaut for a few years, and like next year we're gonna have it. HBO is gonna come back pretty strong. You're gonna have The White Lotus, House of the Dragon, The Last of Us.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a few other missing, maybe Industry. I don't know. Like there's gonna be a lot of stuff, and it's actually kind of funny because we kind of in the prediction pod we were like, kind of a rough year for HBO with total nominations, but it's like they're the ones laughing here because they still got a series win.
Mm-hmm.
They still had one of the top 4 shows of the night.
Yeah.
So
I will say, whatever this FX, Hulu, whatever, FX is on a good trajectory. I mean, they do have good quality content. I mean, sometimes it ebbs and flows, but they've done very, very well for themselves recently. So that's good.
Yeah, definitely. Let's now move to our last kind of category of the night, which is limited or anthology series. Great night for Richard Gadd, as we talked about. Most wins for an individual performer, I believe, last night here. And he got 3. He got producing, writing, and for starring in Baby Reindeer. Baby Reindeer also won for a supporting actress. But this is Netflix's 3rd limited series big win in the last 4 years. So their 3 out of the last 4 limited series were from Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Little sad we couldn't share the wealth, as I talked about last week. It's like I was really hoping. I think I had Gadd as my will win, Andrew Scott as my dark horse, I believe. I wanted Andrew Scott. That was what my heart was going for. Yeah. He missed out on lead actor for Ripley, but at least Ripley won for directing. It got also 3 Creative Arts Emmys, including for cinematography. So that's nice. But man, yeah, I'm like one of those people where it's like, Richard Gadd did great. Baby Reindeer's good, but he can get for producing and writing. Can we give this one, acting to Andrew Scott? Can we just share the wealth a little bit? Does he really need 3? Can we give him 2? That's all. But
yeah, I agree. I wanted Andrew Scott to win, but they really love Baby Reindeer. So
yeah, and that's what happened last year with Beef. It's like they really love Beef. All the awards for Beef, but
I feel like that's where Netflix, if they could find a good couple of limited series, I think that they can shine in that area because they've got the money to make those longer movie type series that can showcase, I think they could do really well in that category, keep continually.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause I think if we look at last year, obviously with Beef, but they also had Dahmer in this category. The year before they lost to The White Lotus, which again now is in drama series, but I think Inventing Anna was one of their nominees that year. So they always have something in there. The year before, Queen's Gambit, they always are unbelievable, unorthodox. Yeah, they've had some good stuff in this category, but the ones that didn't win was lead actress and supporting actor. Lead actress Jodie Foster, of course. I believe I had that. I think we both had that one. Yeah. Or maybe you had Juno Temple. I can't remember.
No, I had Jodie Foster. Yeah.
Yeah. So she won for True Detective Night Country, or as she called it, True Detective North Country. I'm just picking on her. I mean, she has more Emmys than I ever will, so she gets the last laugh. But
and all of us combined.
Yeah. It's just I thought maybe there could have been some Juno Temple love, but it's Jodie Foster. It's just, as you saw with her, another standing ovation. This was her kind of big moment, going to TV. But the Fargo win, I wasn't expecting. I don't think anyone was expecting. We didn't have it on our list. I think maybe on that Gold Derby top 5 or whatever. I think he was 5.
Yeah.
Lamorne Morris.
Yeah.
Surprise of the night for sure. I think I love him. I love him. Don't get me wrong. I'm a big fan of him and his work in New Girl and everything with that. But I think it was just a surprise. He beat Jonathan Bailey, John Hawkes, Robert Downey Jr. I think a lot of people had that on the list, but these two wins actually for Morris and for Foster are actually the first acting wins for True Detective and Fargo.
That's wild.
It's wild to think about.
Wow.
That is wild. Considering that first season of True Detective.
Yeah, because Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson, same category up against Bryan Cranston.
Yeah. And then the number of actors that have come after, even though the series,
Mahershala Ali,
I think Colin Farrell, right, was in one. And Rachel McAdams, even though that season was meh. But
everyone in Fargo, Billy Bob Thornton, Martin Freeman, Allison Tolman, Colin Hanks, I think that's just season one. Joaquin Woodbine, I think Patrick Wilson. There's just so many. Kirsten Dunst, Jesse Plemons. It's just a lot of nominations, but
I think John Hamm was getting more love awards-wise for this season than Lamorne Morris. So, he was stuck in lead actor against Richard Gere. Maybe they were like, maybe the being nominated in two key categories. It's like, oh, he's in supporting actor for this and for Morning Show, and he's in lead actor for this for Fargo. It's like, he'll win the other one. I'll vote for this person over here. And it's like, well, if everyone thinks that way, but good for Lamorne Morris. Just a surprise, but good for him.
Yeah, definitely the surprise of the night. Let's talk a little bit about the ceremony a little bit here. Eugene and Dan Levy hosted it. Overall, I thought it was pretty fun. Nothing too crazy. Still a good time. For me, Eugene Levy, he'll always get me. I know the punchline before he says it, but just his delivery will still crack me up. Like, there was this bit where they were in the wrong aisles, for presenting the next award. And I knew the punchline would be, when Dan, threw it to Eugene that he wouldn't be able to read the teleprompter. And that's what it was, but it still got me. Yeah. It's just the delivery of it all. But what do you think of how they hosted?
I thought it was very industry favorable. It's very,
they weren't going to take cutting remarks like maybe a Kimmel would or Gervais or something.
They're they're decent jokes that are gonna fly with everyone. They weren't gonna get anyone down. I thought they were fine. It's very shticky, Steve Martin Short type of vibe to them. So I thought it was fine. I think it's good for this type of show. I think it works for this type of show. I think they're likable. And I think, they're willing to make fun of themselves a little bit. So then it kind of takes a little bit of heat away from anyone else. I thought it was perfectly fine. And I think
that's the thing. Sometimes with a host, it's like you don't want to be.
You don't want it. Yeah. It's just get through it and do the thing.
Just keep it going.
Yeah, and make some jokes, and they were fine. And like you said, you could sometimes see the punchline, but they're good comedic actors. So I think it worked. Fine.
Yeah. You brought up Martin Short and Steve Martin here. That was kind of my one of the WTF moments with. I like their banter and the timing, the back and forth. But the thing we got a couple of times, maybe it's a joke I'm just missing, is the Shingles doesn't care graphic over them. There's multiple times where it's like Shingles doesn't care. I don't know if that's.
I think it's just I think it's just they're old. I took it as that. It's they're old and they would get.
I'll see if I can Google it real quick.
Shingles.
But it's just
it's like an ad because they're old for Shingles.
There might be a commercial, but it's just. I guess maybe it's playing to that audience because I think the majority of people don't watch TV with ads anymore. Yeah. So I have no.
In fact, I think they're right after this. What's kind of funny is right after this thing, when they cut to the next commercial, it was for plaque psoriasis. So I think it is making fun of that, like, oh, we're old. You get shingles when you're old, and it'll get you. It gets everyone, and even me, Martin Short. I think. I don't know.
Yeah, could be. Another thing I want to bring up is, I guess while we're in this section, I'm jumping around a bit here, is a moment that didn't really work for me, maybe a low point, was after the in memoriam, and we have Kimmel walk out, and he says, and the Emmy for deceased individual we will miss most goes to.
Yeah, it was weird.
It was an awkward moment, just the line, because he, like, the delivery of it, the actual line, and also just after the in memoriam song, it's like we don't need this. I don't know. It just felt really weird. And then when he did his whole speech, you can also tell from the audience, it kind of just like stopped. Yeah, I think the audience expected more, and then they're like, "Oh, that's it. Okay." Like, it was odd.
Well, it's because normally when you come from the in memoriam, you cut to black, you fade to black, and we're going to a commercial. This just felt like an extension on it. We didn't know where it was going. It was weird to make a joke after the in memoriam. It just didn't mesh well together. If he had come out and said something, not even jokey, but more like heartfelt, I think it would have resonated a little bit more. Yeah,
maybe like heartfelt, then a joke. But like to start off with a joke of like, also like the award for the one we'll miss the most. It's like, I mean, like, Bob Newhart's a legend. Don't get me wrong. But I'm sure there's other people in the room where it's actually, I like my person because maybe like that's my uncle, that's my whatever, that's the person I grew up with, that's you know, and it's just like everyone has their own preference.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem with the in memoriam section as a whole, is like you get these sections where it's like, oh, that dead person is more meaningful, and then they clap for it. It's just so weird. So I think he just could have come out and said like, oh, this guy meant a lot for this TV, here's why, and then maybe give a joke about, I don't know, something that happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know where you want to go from here. I was going to mention a couple of things.
Wherever you want to go. Yeah, what do you got for the ceremony?
I mean, I don't. All of these guys, Billy Crystal, Martin Short, Steve Martin, like I can, the shtick wears old on me. But Billy Crystal had a great line when he first came out, and he was saying something, this, that, and it's actually, it's good to be anywhere, actually. Yeah. It's just like, it was like, yeah, where have you been? What are you doing? It's just good to have me back. So that was funny. That was a good line. And then the fact that John Oliver was about to say something heartfelt and then got played off, and it was just like this.
The timing couldn't have been better, because it's like he started saying it, and then the music came up, and he's like, well, the joke's on you because this pet I'm talking about is dead. Perfect music for this.
Yeah, and then he's I feel like, what was it, Sarah McLachlan?
Yeah, and then they had to stop the music. That was a good, the timing, like they couldn't have planned it better. And it just shows how good Oliver is, rolling with the punches there. But
and then, sorry, to go back to the in memoriam section, and I wasn't gonna mention this on the podcast, but I think it's fair game, so I think it's fine. So, John, have you ever heard of the artist Jelly Roll?
No.
Okay. Well, they're about to announce the in memoriam section. All right. And you know how, and they get this solemn voiceover. They just cut to this, and then they're like, and now to sing the in memoriam, Jelly Roll. And it's like, it's the most comedic time. Like, it's not supposed to be a joke, but it's just like, how am I supposed to take this seriously with a guy named Jelly Roll? And then you cut to him and he's got like tattoos all over his face. Not saying that's bad, but the comedic timing on it is hilarious. It's like, if I said something, like I joked with Dave, I sent him a text. It's like, and now to sing the in memoriam, Entenmann's loaf cake. It could be like anything. It could be like the real Slim Shady. It's like, this is so, like, what are we doing here? You couldn't even go by his like real name. It's just so weird. The comedic timing of it was so funny.
I had no idea what to expect because they were teasing it all night. Like, a very special performance by Jelly Roll. I'm like, don't know what that is. Yeah. Like, don't know what, who that is. Never heard of this before. But then again, like, I saw the ads for like the VMAs recently. And it's like special performances by. I recognize like 2 out of the 10 names. I'm like, I'm old. It's not for me anymore. I get it. Whatever.
Yep.
Okay. But speaking of being old, a lot of nice reunions and celebrations throughout the Emmys. I feel like we have had some weird milestones in years past. I feel like it was like last year or the year before. It was like the 17th anniversary of this show. It's like, what are we doing? But this was like the 25th for West Wing and 50 years for Happy Days and SNL. I thought they were all nice little tributes. They also did like this thing where they like celebrated like TV archetypes throughout the broadcast. They did like villains, doctors, coaches, cops, lawyers, all this stuff. They did like TV dads, TV moms, and it was just fun to see like who they ended up like picking. You know, like for villains, we had Homelander and Gus and Kathy Bates.
That was a good team.
Misery, but like it's like funny. It's like oh, for Matlock, but like stuff like that. But then it's also like you can kind of like see like where are we spending the money? Because like the TV dads, they got like this full set. They had a pool table, couch, lounger, you know, man cave, beer garden kind of thing. And then the women it was in front of like a green screen. It's just like, what are we doing here, guys? Like, that's some choices. Like which ones we're gonna build a set for, and which ones, we'll send them out there. We'll find a background on Getty Images and use that. But any other like ceremony moments, Kyle? Because I have some other wins I'll talk about from the creative arts. I'll just run through real quick. But any other
I think I mentioned
moments?
the ceremony moments that kind of stuck out to me, but
nothing too crazy. Like it was
pretty basic.
And a lot of the picks, a lot of the wins were pretty chalk, as we've been predicting. But like when I was good for those surprises, because I feel like if it was the bear, like, like for that last award, or, I don't know, Robert Downey Jr. instead of Lamorne Morris, it's like those wins added to some of the excitement, some of the surprises, and having that little jolt of energy throughout the night was really helpful. But the ones I want to like mention real quick, I was really glad to see Alan Cumming not only win for hosting The Traitors last week, but The Traitors season 2, great season, won for reality series as well, beating the kind of the long-running favorite of RuPaul's Drag Race in that category. So and that was a nice win.
The other thing is like his speech seemed genuine about the show. Like I think he actually
really loves the show.
So I think that goes to show you how much thought and care they put into the show, and if it's a good game show or whatever to be on, I think it tells the care that goes into it.
Yeah, and then Eric Andre. He's an Emmy winner now.
Oh my God.
For the Eric Andre show.
Oh my God. He's a maniac, man. The guy is a maniac. I think this
might be the Tim Robinson category that he won last year. Like it's like short form comedy or drama performer or something. No, I think he should leave this year eligible. So it was nice for Eric Andre to pick up the mantle, because get those two in a show together.
Yeah, for real.
That'd be something. But the last one I want to bring up, I want to end the show on some sad news, some sad stats that are going to stay with us forever here. So, The Idol, it won its one Emmy, and it won for choreography. So it's 1 for 1.
Oh my gosh.
Which means it has more Emmy wins than the entirety of Better Call Saul.
Oh, man.
Better Call Saul is not an Emmy winner, but The Idol is.
Well, hey. Yeah, it doesn't make sense, man.
It doesn't make sense. But
what can we do?
That's the Emmys. No, nothing else to end on. It's just a sad note of the state of awards and how really sometimes they don't mean anything. Some of the greatest shows and performers have never won. Michael Scott for The Office, George Costanza for Seinfeld. Not Emmy winners for those roles.
It was the 18th best episode, and they didn't even vote him in.
Well, maybe next time. Maybe for those Pollos Hermanos coming to Chick-Fil-A. But all right, that is all we got for tonight's episode. That's it for the Emmys for a while, hopefully. We did 2 of these in the last year. Hope that's it. At least until July when we do the nominations. But anyways, a lot of focus on TV, but we're going to be shifting now into movie mode. The next podcast, we're going to settle it up. The annual summer box office draft. We'll talk about some summer movies that we missed, covering throughout the summer. Who won the bet? What were the top movies of the year? And then, in September, October, it's going to be very busy with a lot of releases. Megalopolis, Joker 2, Saturday Night, The Apprentice, so many other Oscar bait movies which we can talk about. But that's all next time. You can find episodes of the podcast on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the blog, doorduncy.com. We are live on Twitch and on YouTube. Same exact time, twitch.tv/doorduncy. We had some chatters again tonight. Shout out to Connor and Worducky in the chat on Twitch. And you can follow us on social media at Twitter and on Instagram at doredundancy. I got to thank both you guys for joining me tonight. A little later than usual. But John directing the show, a lot of moving parts, a lot of images, a lot of things to take care of in a very short turnaround time. Thank you guys so much. And until next time, I'm David Allen.
I'm Jumper.
And I'm Cobridger.
And that's all we got for Door Duncy. Goodbye, everybody.